Welcome to the California Globe Weekly Audio Digest, your narrated version of the stories that have the Golden State talking. Here are your stories for Friday, July 3rd, 2020.
PG&E exits bankruptcy. Utility giant faces new chapter after paying billions, accepting responsibility in dozens of wildfire deaths. By Evan Simon, July 2nd, 2020. On Wednesday, Pacific Gas and Electric officially exited bankruptcy, ending over 1.5 years of bankruptcy and emerging as a company under completely new rules and managing personnel. PG&E had been in financial and legal trouble since late 2018 when the Camp Fire in Northern California killed over 80 people and caused billions of dollars of damages. The company was immediately sued and caused a large insurance crunch through the abnormal number of claims, leading to their January 2019 bankruptcy as protection against the tens of billions in claims. In 2019, PG&E's reluctance to admit guilt and claim responsibility, as well as growing evidence of mismanagement, led to Governor Gavin Newsom attempting a public takeover. Additional actions by PG&E, such as temporarily shutting down power to millions to help reduce wildfire chances, brought them less goodwill in late 2019 from both the public and the government. Finally, earlier this year, PG&E finally admitted fault, agreed to pay $24.5 billion more in settlements, and improve their company, overhauling safety measures and replacing many top executives and board members. The California Public Utilities Committee then gave a green light for the company to emerge from bankruptcy in late May, leading the way for PG&E's restart on Wednesday. A final $5.4 billion payment and a large trust for the victims of wildfires it caused, as well as a $5 billion paid into the state wildfire fund, was paid on Wednesday as a final act before the bankruptcy officially ended. While PG&E may still become a public utility under the looming SB 350, that would only happen if the bill is passed and if PG&E fails to meet certain safety and other company obligations. The infrastructure and safety rehaul also still has a ways to go for full implementation, and some personnel, such as the CEO position left vacant by former CEO Bill Johnson on Tuesday, still need replacement. However, Interim CEO Bill Smith has said that this marks a new era for PG&E. This is an important milestone, but our work is far from over, said Smith in a statement. Our emergence from Chapter 11 marks just the beginning of PG&E's next era as a fundamentally improved company and the safe, reliable utility that our customers, communities, and California deserve. For many people who had been personally caught up in the saga, Wednesday's news came as bittersweet. They paid, but it still doesn't bring the town back or any of the people they killed, said Dan Ryan, who had a friend die in the Camp Fire and was a frequent visitor to Paradise. I've read stories of people who just lost close loved ones and now have to pay a check to that company that was responsible for killing them. That's messed up. I'm glad they had to pay like this. Companies rarely do when at fault, but it doesn't change the fact that they did all this, that I can never see my friend again. I can't even tell where he lived anymore. That's how bad the fire was. His funeral was closed casket because what they found of him couldn't be displayed, you know. I don't live in a PG&E area, but if I did, I'd be up the walls trying to find anyone else to give me electricity and gas. I'd go solar or wind or something, anything to avoid paying them because of what they did. They are never winning back the public's trust, not after they erased a town off the map and killed 85 people like that. PG&E's emergence on Wednesday is set to also include payments during the coming years. PG&E customers are not expected to be financially affected by the company becoming bankruptcy-free or through any of its massive changes. Citizen Power. Masks off and health director out in OC. Mainstream media spreading contagious disinformation that wearing a mask is law, by Wayne Lasfardi, June 19, 2020. If you read the myriad of misleading online newspaper headlines in California, you would be led to believe that Governor Newsom's new order that masks must be worn outdoors is an enforceable state law. But where is the law? And if so, who is enforcing it? That is the question that is being asked by Orange County citizen activist Peggy Hall. And on June 8th, Hall and her organization, thehealthyamerican.org, got Orange County Public Health Director Dr. Nicole Quick to quickly resign her position rather than comply with their request to go before the county supervisors and explain the legal basis for her assertion that wearing masks outdoors is mandatory. Quick alleged she left because of death threats, but the only confirmed threats were of a personal lawsuit against Quick to be filed by THA.org alleging civil rights violations and a protest at her home. Protesters gave out Quick's home address, but apparently only stated that they would hold a calisthenic workout session on the public street in front of her home. Even the Voice of OC wrote, to make matters worse, Quick also faced horrible public information rollouts for just about every one of her health orders she issued during her short tenure as public health officer during the pandemic. To prevent a possible constitutional lawsuit, the county's new public health officer quickly changed the wording of the order to read strongly recommended instead of required. The Orange County Sheriff said he would not enforce the county's public health order, or more accurately stated, directive. In Riverside County, the sheriff has stated he won't write tickets. In San Bernardino County, wearing a mask is optional. Ventura County reportedly has no mask recommendations or mandates. Alameda County only encourages citizens to wear masks. Even in virus-plagued Santa Clara County, an order to wear masks on the sheriff's website could not be found. The county health department stated their directive was for guidance only. And even the governor's new June 18th, more emphatic mask mandate contains weasel words that clearly state it is merely guidance for the use of face coverings. One would think that wearing a mask to stop the alleged spread of coronavirus in a dentist office would be legally mandated. But even Cal OSHA says their directive is not a standard regulation and creates no new legal obligations. While Cal OSHA states that people must wear face coverings, it carefully claws back its wording to say it is only guidance to help employers. The California Office of Administrative Law, that determines whether laws passed by the legislature are valid, has no proposed law under review that would compel criminal or civil prosecution against those who refuse to wear masks. Orange County does have a mask requirement for food and pharmacy workers, but businesses can refuse to serve customers who do not have masks or can grant some flexibility for those who have asthma or breathing difficulties. Most people don't have difficulty with that. But it begs the question, why is a governmental mask mandate necessary in the first place? Businesses can be left to handle the situation to the comfort level of their customers. If you don't like that business's policy, then you can shop elsewhere. That is unless government has shut down those alternative businesses. The hardware store in my community does not require masks, and people are free to go to Home Depot. Citizen pressure groups have ousted 7 public health officials in California thus far who have abused their power in responding to the so-called virus epidemic. Hall says she and THA are bringing her unmasking efforts to other counties. Governor rolls back reopenings. 19 counties face more indoor lockdown measures. Newsom urges cancellations for public firework displays, large gatherings. By Evan Simon, July 1, 2020. On Wednesday, Governor Gavin Newsom announced a return of lockdown measures in 19 counties where they had recently been reinstated, closing many indoor businesses and operations in advance for the July 4th weekend. Contra Costa, Fresno, Glen, Imperial, Kern, Kings, Los Angeles, Merced, Orange, Riverside, Sacramento, San Bernardino, San Joaquin, Santa Barbara, Santa Clara, Solano, Stanislaus, Tulare, and Ventura counties are now facing indoor shutdowns. According to Governor Newsom, restaurants, wineries, movie theaters, entertainment venues, zoos, museums, and card rooms must close all indoor operations, with bars facing a temporary total shutdown. However, the governor insisted that outdoor operations as well as socially distant functions such as takeout or pickup services would not be hindered. This doesn't mean restaurants are shut down, explained Governor Newsom on Wednesday. It means that we're trying to take the activities, as many activities as we can, these mixed activities, these concentrated activities, and move them outdoors, which is a way of mitigating the spread of this virus. Governor Newsom reinstated some of the restrictions following a dramatic increase in the number of coronavirus cases within the state. On Tuesday, California reported a record number of new cases in a day, with 8,610, as well as a new high in the number of daily deaths with 103. Bottom line is, the spread of the virus continues at a rate that is particularly concerning, said the governor. Newsom, as well as state health officials, are also concerned that a high number of new cases could lead to overburdening hospitals with new patients. Health officials have also warned at both the human cost and the financial cost in the rise of new cases. In addition to the closings before the holiday weekend, Newsom also urged Californians to social distance and continue to wear masks, especially at any July 4th events. Wearing a face covering is a sign of toughness. It's a sign of resolve. It's a sign of someone who gives a damn, added Governor Newsom at a press conference. Our actions have an impact on other people. There's a reason in this country we require seatbelts. There's a reason in this country we require helmets when you are on a motorcycle or a scooter. And that is not only to protect you, but also to protect others. Many local areas also added additional safety measures and shutdowns this weekend. In Los Angeles County, all beaches, piers, and bike paths will be closed from Friday until Monday. State beach parking in the LA and Bay areas will also be closed during the weekend. Many cities will also be following Governor Newsom's suggestion in not hosting group gatherings or firework displays, including the large Pasadena fireworks event on the 4th. Many local officials have agreed with Newsom over the expanded temporary shutdowns during the holiday weekend. A lot of businesses are still hurting, but those higher rates don't lie, noted Doug Lee, a restaurant owner speaking for several LA restaurants and cafes. This is what we need to do to protect those who can't handle the virus but also keep businesses open. I very much want everything to be open and be how it was before COVID-19, but we have to do what we need to do right now for the greater public good. America has gotten a lot of criticism over this overseas, and this is a time where we prove we can stop this. If it means no public fireworks and having to order in, it's what we have to do. With many state agencies such as the California Highway Patrol and the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control on the lookout to enforce the governor's orders, Newsom expressed that he hoped that they wouldn't be too harsh on them for a first offense. It's more education. I'm not coming out with a fist, said Governor Newsom. All returning lockdown measures are currently in place in California. Should the number of new daily cases go significantly down, it is expected that the returning restrictions would be removed again. As soon as it's safe, we should be allowed to do business again, added Lee. We need to be safe, but we shouldn't have to risk our businesses if we get no financial protection or relief. Senate Republicans urge committee to keep Columbus statue in Capitol Rotunda. GOP leaders cite historical value, importance to the United States in letter. By Evan Simon, July 1, 2020. Earlier this week, Republican legislative leaders signed and sent a letter to the Joint Rules Committee in a last-ditch effort to keep the Christopher Columbus statue in the state Capitol building in Sacramento. Led by Senate Republican leader Shannon Grove, the letter pleads with the committee to keep the Columbus last appeal to Queen Isabella statue that has been in the Capitol Rotunda since 1883. Removal had been announced in mid-June, following George Floyd protesters removing and defacing other Christopher Columbus statues nationwide due to Columbus's actions in enslaving and mutilating natives during exploration of the Americas in the 1490s. Removal of the statue began 10 days later with no current plans on reinstallation or replacement with another statue. In the letter, the 8 GOP senators pushed for keeping the statue because of the historical significance, its importance to the country and Italian Americans, and because of the history of the statue itself. The letter also notes the negative actions of Columbus while also noting his accomplishments. The spirit of human exploration and discovery, as well as the stories of our imperfect past, display the full spectrum of our history, notes the leaders in the letter. Prominent American banker Darius Ogden Mills acquired the sculpture for $30,000. Mr. Mills was a proponent of making Sacramento the state capital and was critical in the fundraising for the purchase of the original plot of land upon which the capital was built. Mr. Mills eventually gifted the statue to be enjoyed by Californians in the People's House. As misguided as Columbus may have been, history cannot be rewritten, nor his accomplishments diminished. Some will say the removal of the statue is anti-Catholic. Others will say it is racist against Italian Americans. We say it is uninformed. We must not allow fear of our past to push us to ignore the lessons learned through uneducated and ignorant action by simply removing our history from sight. What will be next? Removing the Little Sisters of the Poor or Junipero Serra statues? Those who oppose the statue have noted many other figures in California history could replace the statue in the rotunda. Artists need work right now, so why not have a competition or make multiple statues, said Rodrigo Martin, a Los Angeles-based sculptor who currently has entries for replacement statues in other states. We can celebrate California's uniqueness and contribution to the U.S. We have people on the right like Ronald Reagan and people on the left like Cesar Chavez. We have pioneers in human rights like Dolores Huerta and Harvey Milk. We have slain people like George Moscone and even important entertainers who made their mark too. And if we want to remain unpolitical, how about a bear or another symbol of the state? We're going to see a push for a replacement, and Californians have a chance to make their mark here through a new statue. As of Wednesday, the Columbus statue is still expected to be permanently removed despite the letter and groups calling for the statue to remain inside the Capitol. It is currently unknown where the statue will be kept until a new permanent location is found.
Thank you for listening to the California Globe Weekly Audio Digest. Check us out at californiaglobe.com.